Hey guys, it's Nick the Booksmith. Welcome back, welcome back. So as promised, I wanted to do a flip through of the PackRat book that we made the other day because I didn't feel I should add on to the already lengthy video. So I thought I would show you the PackRat journal today. And this was the first one that I had made. I kind of lucked out on this one because this book that was an analytical mechanics textbook back in the day, it poor thing was falling apart. As you can see, here's the spine. The spine was not on the rest of it, and the spine is a little bit even different colored than the front and back covers. It must have sat on a shelf where the sun shone on the spine. The sun had degraded the spine. I think that's probably why it was not intact anymore. But I was able to save the spine and glue it onto that fabric. But I will show you this one too. But the reason why I say I lucked out with this one was because it was the perfect size, the covers were, just to use US letter sized paper, for the most part folded in half. And like I did with this one, there's other size papers in there, smaller papers. The max size was that measurement that I took of the book board and then subtracting for the square. But anyway, this one was a little easier because I didn't have to cut down hardly anything. I could just put it in there. So we'll look at this one too. Real quick. I don't have a bunch of time today. I'm knee deep in adulting, which is, so much fun, and you know how much I adore adulting, and I just love paperwork and just all that fun stuff. So this book that we made, I ended up using just some natural handmade paper. I have some old business contact cards, and this is some pages that some friends have sent to me. So friends and subscribers and students, these two books are filled with pieces of what others have sent me. Even though somebody else might not think it's a special, they might look at it and go, well, that's, it's a page, great. To me, it is special because somebody thought about me enough to see something and think Nick would like that and put it in an envelope and send it to me. It is special to me. So that's why these books are filled with some of them. Did not use them all. But I adore Ledger. You guys know that. And Colette sent me some Ledger, so that had to go in there. The Whispering Mummy. Now, I did find that in the recycle bin in pieces, but I kept some of it together to put in here because it is a good book. Even though I don't have all the pages together to read it. I love Edith Holden pages, so of course that goes in there. It's from a big, huge dictionary that I found at the recycle bin. This was just a little piece of accounting paper that I added as a little note-taking spot. Hallie sent me some old encyclopedia pages, and so in they went. And this is one of the examples when I said, I don't know which video I mentioned it in, that you can add on to pages if you want to make them bigger or more interesting than they are. So this page was actually a little bit too big, but I thought it was a little bit too small. After it's folded, it was just this little 1.5" little flap here. So I took this recipe reference about weights and measures that would go in a recipe box, had a blank back. So I just attached that as a little tab, flap, whatever, to be written on. This is some old paper. You may have seen this before. It is something that I got at a thrift store. There was probably 100 pieces of paper in like a plastic bag for 99 cents. And it had the Prescott Hatchery from Prescott, Iowa. And the phone number is 56. So I think it's been a while since we had 2-digit phone numbers in Iowa. So this is probably some pretty old paper. There's the fly leaf from the Whispering Mummy. And these are some pages from an Edgar Allan Poe book that I just have a few pages. But in they went. because I kind of loves me some Poe, and some onion skin paper. But that's about it. So when choosing pages for your PackRat book, my thought process is that I try to stagger as you go through, and I try not to put too much of the same thing next to each other, unless it's on purpose, and maybe it's a sketchbook and they're all the same size paper. If it's going to be something like a PackRat journal or a junk journal, I like to see the varying sizes. I like to see lines going in opposite directions. So this paper has horizontal lines. This paper is supposed to be horizontal because it's just notebook paper, but I sent it this way, put it in the opposite direction. Sometimes book pages go in upright, sometimes they go in sideways. I like to see the varying different aspects of the papers, but not all the same going through, unless it's just a plain paged book, which this is not. So I ended up with the little book plate on the front that I stamped PackRat on. And then I put a little bookstore label on the back. So I think it turned out kind of cute. I used another tapestry fabric, just a piece that I had lying around, and it had a lot of blue in it. Really love the blue. I love blue. I love green too. I always go for the cooler colors. If you ever watch any of my videos where I show hand marbled paper, you will see a lot of blues and greens because, I don't know, something about that combination. I don't care if it's dark blue or light blue. I don't care if it's light green or lime green or dark green or forest. It doesn't matter. Put the spine back on, but then I added a little Denison label that I stamped and printed out. It was in my little box of printed things, so on it went, just to make it interesting. And then on the inside, I did add a little spot where I could slide something in if I needed to save something, so I put one in the front and one in the back. And this is just pieces of hanging file folder that I lined the edge with another piece of file folder because I thought it was too flimsy and that I might rip it. I might get all ham-fisted and rip it. So I strengthened it with an extra layer. This book is also filled with things that friends and students and subscribers have sent me. And it's also got some things in here that I either made for a video and then didn't end up using it in anything else, or I made it and never used it in a video. So kind of some things along the way, some memories. This was just a book page and I only had the page, but I had typed on it one of my favorite quotes from the Frankenstein book, and I used this quote in a video. I can't remember if I used this page or not. I thought I used the page that I had printed on in a collage or something. I'll have to look at the video. I have a few just a couple. My memory does not always serve me well if I try to think, what was it that I did? I don't remember. But what I did was, it was just a single page. So I made a little spine with some washi tape so that I could sew it in. Sheet music that I got at the thrift store moons ago. Moons and moons and moons. Do you remember when I made the lap book? Remember the lap book? This came from the lap book. This was one of the pages. As you can tell, they did like a stab binding, so which they stab through here and then it gets sewn this way. They're not the easiest to open. The spine isn't very flexible, so people really want to open the book and it just kind of cracks. So that's why these kinds of bindings don't always last forever. So hence this page is not in it anymore. But it was a cool page, so I put it in there. I made this in a video. I made this little file folder because it was part of a freebie that I had for subscribers at that point. I can find that. I will link it below. But I think I made this little file folder on a video this week, because this week's crazy. This week's crazy. It's crazy. So I did not prepare and write down. I didn't go through this and write stuff down. So I will try to fix that and add links for those, because inevitably I might get a, so where's that video? I don't know. Well, I'll look it up and link it. This was another piece of that handmade paper. I got this on Amazon and it was very inexpensive. It's down in my favorites list underneath, and I find that I'm using these pieces here and there. But anyway, it was kind of short because I used it upright instead of sideways. So I took this accounting little memo sheet. I just added this on to make extra width there and add some interest. So a friend sent me some beautiful old little enrollment books. This is class or teacher. Just great paper. I love paper. I don't care if it's new paper or old paper or middle-aged paper. I just like paper. Something about the tactile qualities and the way it sounds when you turn the pages. We all have our thing, right? Some people like dogs and some people like hot air balloons. I like paper and books. Just some notes out of a notebook from who knows when. Friend also sent me this. It's just some little typed out recipes, probably from a handmade or a homemade recipe book that somebody put together. It could be a church group or a ladies group or a Masons or whatever. Just they collect recipes and they type them all out. Those are the best cookbooks. Those are the best cookbooks because you know that back in the 40s or 50s, whenever it was, that if somebody came to you out of your group, association, whatever, and said, so could I have a recipe to put in a book? You thought, hot dang, this is it. This is it. My daddy told me I'd go far and this is it. So you weren't going to give some mediocre, basic, curbside recipe. No, no siree. You were going to give them your best because guess what? Your name was on that. And who knows who might read that book. Your reputation was at stake. So those are the best. Macedonia Water Association, minutes on a meeting. It's kind of great. There's another one of the fly leaves from that Alfred Hitchcock book. And if you remember, I told you that I had some of these. Well, I folded it so that a little bit was going to be over on this side, but of course it's not big enough to be a page, so I just added this on, turned it into a full folded leaf to put in the signature. Some more of Colette's Ledger. That's kind of neat. It's from an old catalog from 1901, from Toronto. Hello, Toronto. This is one of my favorite marbled papers, one of the favorite designs that I made. And this is actually just printed. It's just printed. I printed it on a piece of colored light cardstock. It's just some, so this page was really long. For more effective speeches, and so there's all these things that you should do, how you should take your notes and how you should look, all that about speeches. Somebody typed that out for a class probably. But I attached it as kind of a fold-out interactive piece there. And then this was the other side of that hand-marbled paper printout. I added an Edith Holden page too and used it also as so it's like a little double fold-out interactive whatever thing. It's just interesting. And then this happens to be a little hidden spot where you could put something in there if you wanted to. Another one of the Edith Holden pages that I just glued another one onto a single one. That's kind of what I do when I'm extending or making smaller pages into larger ones so that it can be bound into a book with larger sized pages. I find out what my page size needs to be, my full unfolded page size needs to be. But when I collect things, not always the things that I'd like to put in the book are going to be that size, and I don't want a majority of the pages to be like this because I don't want that all through the book. I just want that sprinkled. I will take several smaller pages and I will Frankenstein them together to create a larger single piece that can then be bound in. And here is part of the first chapter of that Whispering Mummy that I found in the bin. And this is another one of those funky little pages. So this was a page from the encyclopedia. A friend sent me some beautiful collaged piece. This one's my favorite. I haven't used it yet. Kind of holding on to this one. That's for me. I glued it onto the back of that page, and then I added just a little coin envelope onto that side. just to kind of extend and lengthen, make a bigger page. So you might have small paper, but you don't want to make a book that is tiny, then start Frankensteining. You just start making bigger pieces and then cut them to size, whatever you need. Makes for a very interesting read. So that is pretty much that book. I have a couple little bookmaker stickers that I printed out. I picked both the blue ones. I think those are the only two I have left anyway. So one of these is going to go on the back. I'm just not sure if I want the Tuttle Company Bookshop or Bloggin' & Son Medical Periodicals and Books. Which one? This one matches better and this one stands out, but I like the shape of this one. I'll zoom you in so you can see. You can make an opinion. Of course, by the time you give me your opinion, it's going to already be glued on. So throw in your bets. We need the Jeopardy theme song when we're waiting for the Jeopardy. What is that? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go with Tuttle, just because I want to keep the other one for something else. And I have yet to go get my mail, but a friend of mine, hi Renee, sent me some chess pieces for the globe. You know my globe that we're making the globe? So I haven't gotten my mail in a month. I'm sure there is a pile and a half of mail down there. So I need to go get that, but I didn't want to continue with the globe until I went to go get my chess pieces from Renee, because that might have to be the globe stand. Another globe that I had made that I was going to show you was, it's upside down. Sorry. There we go. It's like an antique golden. I am hoping to get this one perfected so that we will have this one and then the regular, the bluer one. And then there's a bright blue one. We will go over that. I'm trying to have these ready for the summer sale, which is not this weekend, but it's next weekend, starting on Friday. So I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff done. I want to get that book I'm working on, finish getting it ready for the book minutia class to load up in the library there, so that everybody that has already enrolled will have another book to print out. And new people will, well, you'll also have that book to print out. I got to get that ready. What other things did I want to show you? Oh, I guess I could. This might take too long. I might break this up. So if all of a sudden this ends and now you're hearing me speak in another video, it's because I cut them in half, because I think I've already gone over like 30 minutes. I wanted to show you these a while back. Let me scoot over the PackRat book. So these are from a company called Pepin, and they make and print gorgeous paper. I don't have a problem. I can stop anytime I want. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I've collected a few, and I've only used a couple of the pages. I told you that I was also guilty of hoarding paper and saving stuff. But this is basically like gift wrap. You can do all kinds of things with it. Periodically, you can get these on Amazon. I'll put some in my favorites list as I find them. They're beautiful, and they fold out. So this is like a fourth of the page, because once it folds out, it's big. It's big. You could wrap a book in this. You could use it as end sheets. You could wrap a gift, but they have the most beautiful papers. Just gorgeous. Pepin, you guys rock. You rock my socks. There's some Hakel. This one is also illustrations from antiquity, and this one was flowers. This one is more of a botany feel to it. Then we've got fauna. Yeah, I know I have a problem. Be quiet, leave me alone. I don't hardly have any vices in my life. I don't smoke. I rarely drink. I should drink more. I probably have, I don't know, 1 or 2 drinks every 6 months because somebody else is drinking one and they hand me one, because we've not been having any parties, none of us lately, at least not in-person parties. I haven't been drinking either. Like I said, maybe I should. What was I saying? I don't have that many vices. So it's paper. So sue me. It could be heroin. It could be worse. That's what you tell your family. they tell you you have a problem collecting paper. Paper and books, that's not hoarding. That's my rule. You can quote me on that. Just tell them, hey, it could be worse. It could be heroin. Don't take heroin, kids. But you do need to collect paper. Isn't this beautiful? So these are all Van Gogh paintings. As you can see, I used part of this one. You know what I use this for? The miniature bookcase vignette. I cut out one of the little branch segments here and I made a little tiny canvas. I thought you guys might also enjoy the Pepin papers. Just incredible. Good work, guys. Good work. I love some good quality paper. I just need to use it more often and not just look at it. I will use it some more. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let you go for now and I'm gonna go get my adulting done and get that out of the way. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Just go do it, man. So maybe I'll go get my chess pieces from Renee that's sitting in the mailbox and I will finish up the globes and we'll just chat about some stuff. Sound good? So I know some of you are out there, you're already making PackRat journals. I know you are. You are collecting your favorite pieces. I hope you're all having fun. If you have any questions about the PackRat procedure, making the PackRat book, feel free to put those questions below. I'm going to read those probably while my husband's in surgery. I'll be reading through the comments. Ask away, and if I can answer it, I will do so. All right, kids. It was great chatting with you for a few minutes today. I hope everybody is doing well. Big love from Colorado. I hope to see you guys really, really soon in the next video. Bye, guys.